welcome to another edition of Tactical Analysis. And today we're bringing you a fine battle between Pastell, my channel artist, and Maddie, also known as Abstract. So let's get started. Let's get into this tactical analysis. See how we can improve Pastell's gameplay. Because that is what the whole point of tactical analysis is. We go into a battle someone has submitted, and we see how we could improve their gameplay, see what they could do better. So, right now we're looking at Abstract. We see that he has both Meowsticks on the field, and Pastell is leading off with Pupper, her Houndoom, and I believe her Gardevoir, Artemis. I'm not sure if I caught that name right. But in any case, Abstract goes into a yawn into the Gardevoir. Now, let's see what Pastell does. Pastell is going to increase her special attack with Pupper. Meanwhile, Maddie, or Abstract, is going to go into a Shadow Ball into the Gardevoir. So, right off the bat, that gives you some interesting information, Pastell. Now, you go into Artemia here, and you go into the Z light screen to increase your special defenses, while increasing your special defense stat. That in itself is a pretty good move, but this is where you kind of flounder. Now, I'm not saying this was a poor choice, but you really could have stayed in. You really could have stayed in. But here's where I'm confused. You go into the Nasty Plot to increase your special attack, but then you go into Foul Play to deal physical attack damage. Not saying that's wrong, but on the one hand, I was expecting a special attack from Pupper. You know, like a Dark Pulse. That would have done the job as well, and you wouldn't have taken damage from the Shadow Ball. And still, the Life Orb damage did knock out the Meowstick, so you were able to get the special attack increase thanks to Soul Heart for your Magearna. And you also revealed your leftovers, so you probably could have kept that information hidden. Now, we're going into the Lichen Rocks here. So, your opponent is setting up their light screens, their reflects. That's got to give you some tips about what they're doing. And once again, you barely survived the Rock Slide here with Pupper, so that's pretty good. But once again, you go into the Foul Play. Why are you using Foul Play if you're going for special attack stat increases onto Pupper? Still, you do get more firepower thanks to that KO, but you get flinched because of it. Alright, now you're going into Mewtwo here, so... Now, I won't question your choice of Mega Stones, but I will question how well you've trained your Pokemon, especially your Mewtwo here, because... Well, first of all, you're gonna get yawned again from Maddie, or your opponent, Abstract. And you're going into the Aura Sphere. This is a good move. You're going into a super powerful attack into a Lycanroc, but you do not knock it out. In fact, you give your opponent a chance to respond with a really powerful move of their own. So, you really need to consider training your Pokemon more, or figure out what their strategy is, because that should have been a one-hit KO. There are very few Pokemon that can withstand the firepower of Mega Mewtwo Y. But you do go into a Flash Cannon, taking down the Meowstic finally. At long last, you deal with the male Meowstic, and you get additional firepower thanks to the Soul Heart. But still, you left yourself very exposed when you didn't take down that Lycanroc. He could have gone into a Accelerock and probably finished you off, but he switches out, goes into his Ninetales Kanto version, brings in the Sunlight. Now this is where you definitely make a good move. You do not go for the attack, instead you go for the recover. But still, you could have been knocked out by the Accelerock. Just saying. And you go into another Flash Cannon, bringing down the Lycanroc Midnight form. That makes you even stronger. You are really racking up those special attack stat increases. So that's one way you could improve yourself. Training your Pokemon better, figuring out what their playstyle is, as well as probably having a counter to pranksters. Now your opponent goes into their Ninetales duo. You've got now Kanto and Alola Ninetales to deal with. Now going into the Side Strike here, this should have been close to one-hit KO, but once again, that just goes to show you just how strong Mega Mewtwo is. You were able to withstand so much firepower. So you're going into turn 7 here, and your opponent is protecting their Ninetales, which begs to show you what they're prioritizing. Freeze Dry, while a powerful ice move, is not very powerful when not used against fire or water type Pokemon. So that's one thing your opponent could learn, but you are managing to stay in the fight, you're recovering your Pokemon, you're managing to hang in there. But yeah, definitely you need something to deal with pranksters. Now, you're going into the Calm Mind here, I'm thinking maybe you're tankier, so that's why you're not nearly as powerful. And that's why you're using Calm Mind to increase your special attack. Perhaps that's what your whole plan was for. But it just leaves you so exposed, Pastell. And you get another Soul Heart. So yeah, if Maddie can stay on the field and get KOs, even if it's not your opponent's KOs, it can eventually snowball into an unstoppable machine. Emphasis on machine. So now your opponent is going into Sky. So this is where you have to realize what the big threat is. Now, I don't know why your opponent isn't using the Accelerock. That would have definitely knocked out your Mewtwo, but it does give you another turn to fight. Perhaps it's because it's Choice Banded, but in any case, you survive this turn, and your opponent responds with Moonblast to Mewtwo's face, but you're strong enough to withstand it, and you finish the battle off with a single Dazzling Gleam. Alright, so how can you improve yourself? How can you improve? Let's go back into the battle once again and maybe skip a few turns just to go to the part where I think we can definitely look at improving your playstyle. Because definitely Pastell, you have some really powerful Pokemon, and you definitely have the moves to, contend with some of the best. But you are definitely making some flaws, some really big mistakes that don't need to be made. So, for example, you don't have anything to counter pranksters in any way, shape, or form, so you are definitely exposed there. You might want to consider getting like a Pokemon with Quick Guard, or like a Serena, for example, if you want to protect against pranksters. Second, if you're going to use moves like Nasty Plot, you need the moves to back them up, to back up those stat increases. So, Nasty Plot does increase your special attack, but Foul Play is not affected by your special attack. it's only affected by your opponent's move. Like, I believe it's the, I believe it's based on how strong they are. That's why Umbreon Foul Play is so powerful. So, that's one area you can definitely improve on. Simply changing your moveset. So, instead of using a physical attack, you could go for Shadow Ball or Dark Pulse. One of those moves would definitely make Pupper a lot stronger in this case. Though I do like what you did. You went into an attack against Bonnie, and even though you didn't get the knockout, the strategy behind it is sound. And even though it didn't get the KO, you still managed to make it KO itself. So that gave you a stat increase. So that was good thinking, good planning on your part. But in any case, that's pretty much all the advice I have to give. The rest is just training. Just make sure your Pokemon are trained properly. Because seriously, later on in the battle, that Mega Mewtwo Y should have been able to KO, you know, Lycanroc midday form easily. Should have been able to finish it off easily, no questions asked. Like, a single Aura Sphere should have been enough to KO it. Midday form Lycanroc is not exactly a tanky Pokemon. Not even Midnight form is very tanky. So, in any case, that is all I have to tell you how to improve yourself, Pastell. For the rest of you, I hope you enjoyed this segment of tactical analysis. And if you have a battle code you'd like me to analyze, if you'd like me to comment on your playstyle, see how you can improve my way of helping you improve, for example, submit by all means, comment down below. And until next time, I am Imperator Davies or Fedora Reshiram. I will see you all next time. Bye bye.
I'm taking in what I can get, but I can't find the answers yet. Head in the water, slow my mind. I hold my breath until I'm found.